ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kil-Kare Speedway. Tonight, it's the best of ARCA racing. I'm Ray Dunlap, and joining me on the program right now, Mr. Gary Lee from ESPN's Thursday Night Thunder. Gary, great to have you as a guest commentator on tonight's broadcast.
Well, you know, one of the joys of my career is having the chance to visit new racetracks around the country. And this is my first time to Kil-Kare. It's only about a 2-hour drive from my home in Indianapolis, and Larry Rice says, oh, it's a wonderful racetrack, great competition, so it's great to be here.
You've seen some great competition this year, an open-wheel competition, but you've also had a chance to keep up with this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series.
Yeah, you have to realize that I'm a race fan. I think race fans have a common fiber that runs through all of us, that we really enjoy all kinds of competition. We may have a favorite kind of car, but we can really appreciate the competition. And, you know, I've done ARCA races before on the public address system at Springfield and Des Moines, Illinois, so I really stay on top of what's going on. And, of course, it has been so competitive this year. In 12 races, we've had 9 different winners. And right now, look at the points. 400 points separating the first 5. It really cannot get any more competitive, and what a great field we have this evening.
Yeah, the competition has certainly been keen. Tonight, Bobby Bowser on the pole for the second time in 1995 here at Kil-Kare. But right now, down in the pit area, standing by with the current ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde points leader, Andy Hillenberg, is his broadcast partner, Larry Rice.
Andy, you actually started in quarter midgets, right?
Yes, I did. I started there at the old Big Z track in Indianapolis and kind of moved up through the ranks. And it's funny how where all that experience takes you.
Hey, you're an open wheel guy. You moved down here, you're leading the stock car division. How does that happen?
I'm not sure, really. I moved up in the open wheel. Actually, you know, patterned myself after guys such as yourself. You know, you work up midgets, sprint cars, champ dirt cars, but I felt like that was all. After we got to the Silver Crown cars, and we had some limited success there, and I just wanted to run some of the bigger places, Daytona, Indianapolis, and I figured, well, you can't have both, so I'll go try for Daytona. Now they schedule a stock car race in Indianapolis, so maybe I will get a run there someday.
Hey, you had a dream. You left Indianapolis, not much money. It was a tough way to go when you first started, right?
Oh, yeah, it was, and we went down there, and I really, like I say, I didn't have very much limited success in the USAC cars and stuff, and we'd break here, break there. I always said I was saving my luck for one place, and when I moved down south, it seems like I've gotten a couple lucky breaks, and that's been really exciting for us.
He won at Daytona. He's led the point standing ever since.
Well, thank you, Larry. Right now, I'm standing by with tonight's pole setter, Bobby Bowser, in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford. Bobby, back in May, you were able to win the race here at Kil-Kare from the pole. You picked up a $2,000 bonus that night from AC Rapid Fire spark plugs, but tonight, it's $5,500. Can you do it?
Well, we're going to give it one heck of a shot. I tell you, the problem with the deal is everybody else knows it too, so they're going to probably try their hardest to keep me from winning, and I'm going to try my hardest to keep them from not keeping me from winning. So we're just going to have to run our own race and try to set a fast pace and see if they can keep up and just go from there.
You have had a lot of experience being out front at this racetrack, but no matter what, you're always in traffic.
That's exactly right. You know, if the traffic plays a big part here, you know, you got to get around the traffic, and usually I like to get around no matter wherever I can get around them, you know, inside or outside, it really doesn't matter. But, you know, the problem with this is everybody knows about the bonus. I know about the bonus. We're just going to have to run our own race and hope we come away with a victory. And, you know, if we set a fast pace, fine. If not, we'll fall in and follow and just wait towards the end.
He's calm, cool, and collective and ready to go racing. And when we come back to the Kil-Kare Speedway, we'll set tonight's SK Tools starting lineup. And welcome back to the Winnebago 150, tonight's race at the Kil-Kare Speedway, second event here at this racetrack in 1995. I'm Ray Dunlap, along with Ron Dreger, bringing you the broadcast tonight, a 3/8 mile racetrack here in Xenia, Ohio, just east of Dayton, Ohio. Ron, let's take a look at our SK Tools field summary, and starting in 27th position today, right from Dayton, Ohio, Bob Dodds in a Numerics Unlimited Ford. Harris Devane, a bad qualifying run for the rookie this year, number 33, will start 26th, and Todd Kuhn from Peoria, Illinois, in number 69, starting 25th.
24th starter is veteran Glenn Brewer from Columbus, Georgia in the CSR Lewandowski car. Mike Buckley from Ann Arbor, Michigan in the Enterprise Tech Services car is 23rd. Mike Loers from Midlothian, Illinois in the Torque Threadlocker car, he'll be 22nd. Ed Dixon and Kenny Schrader's Ron Blum construction car is 21st. Kenny Brown, the rookie from Cincinnati, Ohio, is 20th. And Chet Blanton, a veteran, he's from Plainfield, Indiana, driving the Sports Spectrum Chevrolet, owned by Keith Wimberly. He starts 19th on the grid here at Kil-Kare.
Moving up through the field from Cocoa Beach, Florida, number 88, Mike Fritz. Perry Tripp is in the WW Transport and Motorcycle Stuff entry. Number 6, he'll start 17th. 16th is Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile. Frank Kimmel in the Papa John's Pizza car. Terry Shirley, the crew chief on that car, number 02. Randy Churchill from north of the border in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, number 44. And Mark Gibson driving Charlie Newby's Atlas Copco Tools Chrysler. He'll start the number 7 car in 13th starting position on the grid today.
Kil-Kare Speedway, a 3/8 mile track, one of the smaller tracks on the series as we go up through the starting field. Bob Shack currently second in the driver points. He is from Chapin, South Carolina, formerly from Chicago, Illinois. Engineered Components Ford under him tonight. Dill Whittemore from Seymour, Indiana, in the Indiana Steel Chevrolet is 11th. Your 10th fastest qualifier, a former champion at this racetrack, Marvin Smith from Columbus, Ohio, the Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet. Tim Steele, former series champion, the HS Dye Simlink Chevrolet, he's 9th. Andy Hillenberg, the current point leader, Fast Track Driving School Chevrolet, he'll start 8th on the grid. And 7th, driving for car owner Larry Clement, based in Story City, Iowa, it's Bob Hill having a good season, currently 5th in the driver points here in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series.
Drivers from all over the country. You mentioned Bob Hill there coming from Iowa, and Roger Blackstock from Shelby Township, Michigan. He'll start 6th. Good qualifying run for Roger. Another great qualifying effort for Robbie Pyle from Columbus, Ohio, a ARCA Pro 4 champion, driving for Jerry Lawrence in the Chrysler tonight. Number 13, Jody Guerra, one of the hometown favorites right here in the J.D. Dankin Pontiac. Eric Smith, a former winner this season at the Owasso Speedway, will start the Southtown Motorsports Ford, number 9 in 3rd position. Joe Ruttman driving for the Rouleau brothers tonight, and Bobby Bowser on the pole for the 4th time in 1995 in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford. You know, Ron, we're talking about Joe Ruttman there in 2nd position. What a great qualifying run for this driver, who told us before the racetrack he is closing in on his 200th racetrack that he's visited. Now, that's an incredible stat.
Joe Ruttman is the quintessential veteran. Started his career on the short tracks in Michigan. He then ventured clear up to California, ran the USAC Stock Car Series for several years. He was a champion there. He also participated in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, so he's driven a lot of touring series events, visited a lot of different racetracks. Here at Kil-Kare, never been here.
He's a great race driver. And tonight's broadcast from Kil-Kare being brought to you by Amcus Rescue Systems. That's the official rescue tool of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series. Ready to go, 150 racing laps here at the Kil-Kare Speedway, and the pace car is rolling off right now. Bobby Bowser on the pole. A great season so far, but he's continuing to chase Andy Hillenberg in the Supercar Series points.
Well, you're right, Ray. Bobby, the defending series champion, also the 1992 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series champion. He struggled early in the season, dropped way back. He was 7th in points early on this season. He's can't come back, and he's battling with Bob Shack right now for 2nd position. And they're both gaining on Andy Hillenberg. One of the main reasons, as we just saw, he starts on the inside pole. He's had excellent qualifying runs, and that's good for some bonus points.
Yeah, sure. He's picking up points there for qualifying and also in some of the heat races throughout the season. And you have to remember, it's a 21-race series, so there's a lot of events coming up throughout the course of the summer. And Bowser continuing to battle back. A great qualifying run, as we said, for Joe Ruttman, driving for the Rouleau brothers on the outside. And we need to mention Jody Guerra. He's a hometown favorite here, and he qualifies on the outside of row 2.
And that is indeed Jody Guerra's best ever career qualifying run here in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series. He's in Dan Faldorf's car. He's run a lot of laps here at this racetrack, both in weekly competition and in the ARCA Pro 4 Series. So watch for Jody Guerra. He's outside the 2nd row in the yellow car, number 13.
Ready to go racing here at the Kil-Kare Speedway. The heart of short track season is underway in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series, and we should get the indication of 1 lap to go, and we'll be ready to go racing here. Henry Wetzel up on the flag stand, and the fans are very happy to see Bobby Bowser on the pole here at Kil-Kare, because the Bowser family is located just about 15 miles from here in Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio, the longtime base of the Bowser racing team. Jack Bowser, back when he was the terror of the Midwest in the Stock Car Series, both the ARCA Series and the USAC Stock Car Series, always basing operations out of Springfield, Ohio, and always driving Ford products.
Glad to have Gary Lee and Larry Rice with us tonight here at Kil-Kare. We're ready to go. Tim Steele moves up on the back bumper of Bob Hill. The pace car is to the inside, and here we go. The green flag is out.
Bowser takes the jump, pulls away from Joe Ruttman on the outside, and Bobby Bowser, we mentioned leading the race, is good for bonus points. Looks like he's going to be able to do that right out of the box. Bobby Bowser will lead the first lap. Joe Ruttman in tow. And Eric Smith, driving his father Cleve Smith's car, he jumps into the 3rd position. Just won his first career race at Owasso Speedway just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, good season for Eric Smith, and Bobby Bowser leads the start of the Winnebago 150 here at Kil-Kare. A very tricky racetrack, Ron. Yeah, as you mentioned in the open, about 8 turns here. Truly, it is just a 4-turn racetrack, but a lot of jostling for these drivers as they go around because this track is laid out like no other we race on.
Well, let's take a look at a couple of those cars in our camera right now. Robbie Pyle in the car number 8, Jody Guerra in car number 13. Not guys that you would normally associate with being strong up front race leaders and race winners. They're top 5 qualifiers here because they have a lot of experience on this tricky layout. This racetrack is near Dayton, Ohio, down in the southwest portion of the state. And Barb and Dick Chrysler are the owners. They've made a lot of great improvements to this racetrack, but when the drivers come here for the first time, they look at it, it's got some up and down hills and some herky-jerky turns, and they look at it and say, boy, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, Bob Hill, I know when he looked at it the first time this spring, he said, I don't think I've ever seen a racetrack like this. But again, accolades to the Chryslers. They've done a lot of improvements with the new wall around here and some great lighting. So you can see these ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde cars racing. Randy Churchill now to the inside of car number 13, Jody Guerra. Guerra kind of stuck on the outside there, and it appears that he may have a problem with that J.D. Dankin entry. He's slowed a bit, and Bobby Bowser has really turned up the wick with Joe Ruttman as they're breaking away from the field.
Bobby Bowser in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, that's a red and white car 21. The bright yellow car number 39, owned and fielded by the Rulo Brothers racing team based near Chicago, Illinois. Tonight, the sponsorship from New Lube and Joe Ruttman, the veteran, behind the wheel. Joe's not giving up any ground at all to Bobby Bowser. He has never raced on this track before, but here he is for the first time ever in the Rulo Brothers short track car. This is a brand new car, and he's staying right with Bobby Bowser.
We might make a mention that is the new Chevrolet Monte Carlo body style on that race car too. So you see a Ford and a Chevy racing tight. Here comes Tim Steele to make a move on Roger Blackstock. Another brand new race car, Monte Carlo sheet metal there for the HS Dye number 16, and he moves past Roger Blackstock with quite a bit of ease.
Roger Blackstock having one of his best ever seasons as a driver here on the short tracks. Fielded some very, very strong entries. He's been qualifying consistently in the top 6 or 8, finishing in the top 6 or 8, and that's a real good effort for an independent guy like him. He's out of Shelby Township, Michigan, does all the work on the cars himself, has very little bit of sponsorship or crew help. He does a lot of the work himself, doing a great job in that car number 12.
Racing starting to spread out a little bit on this racetrack now as the leaders are in some lap traffic. We just saw him go around Kenny Brown from Cincinnati, Ohio in the Napa entry. Here comes Bowser now down the front straightaway with Ruttman right in tow, and Eric Smith certainly not getting oh, there goes Kenny Brown to the pits.
You can see the Napa Auto Care diehard car is in the pits. Not a lot of frantic effort. They are going to jack the car up, maybe try to repair it and get it back out
like
there.
They're looking at the rear end there, the one crew member taking a look underneath. So Kenny Brown in the pit area with green flag racing going on. That's a tough break for him. And Tim Steele is strong. Look at this. He moves to the inside of Robbie Pyle, who qualified in the top 5. So Steele now making an effort to move up there and race with the leaders. He's currently in 4th.
Tim Steele, the 1993 series. Oh, and here's Jody Guerra on pit road.
Oh.
What a tough break for this team.
Local favorites here from the Dayton, Ohio area, the J.D. Dankin Pontiac, and with the crew member jacking it up there and green flag racing continuing. That's a tough break for Jody Guerra.
And Joe Ruttman has taken the race lead, Ray, from Bobby Bowser, and look at Eric Smith closing in too. We're not sure if Bowser has a problem. Caution flag is on the speedway. Robbie Pyle has spun.
Yeah, Robbie Pyle over in turn number 4, car number 8. He has looped it there, and you're right, the lead has changed. Now Joe Ruttman out front as the yellow flag waves.
See Robbie Pyle able to fire his car. He's back underway. No seemingly damage, just spun the car, and he was parked sideways on the racetrack. And at a short, tight racetrack like this with 3,400-pound cars rocketing around, you don't want to take a chance with somebody laying crossways on the track.
Take a look at this replay. You see here Bowser's to the outside. Here comes Ruttman making his move, and they're right in the center of turn number 4. Ruttman just stuffs her down low right there on the white line. He takes the move. Let's see if we can see what happens to Pyle. He's at the top of your screen there. He just looped it. No help from anyone. So just maybe a little bit too aggressive driving there from Robbie.
Almost looked like Bobby Bowser's car wiggled just a tad. Maybe it's getting out of that groove and getting the outside tires just out of the black. makes your car wiggle just a little bit. See Bowser's car wiggle just enough to shake it up the racetrack. Ruttman stuck just like glue in a bottle.
Yeah, Ruttman does a nice job of taking the lead there. Pyle spins it in turn number 4, and we're under caution for the first time tonight here at Kil-Kare. And Jody Guerra back out on the racetrack now, and we're ready to go racing again. To the inside, Mike Buckley in car number 48 and Bob Dodds. The green flag is back out. Pace car drops to the inside, and Ruttman now your leader.
Well, a tough break for Jody Guerra. He goes 2 laps down with that caution flag pit stop. Just for Buchanan Fitness and J.D. Dankin car. They were looking for a good run, had a great qualifying run, but they're going to be 2 laps down. And Joe Ruttman now is going to stretch it out a little bit.
Eric Smith now making his way there past the lap traffic. There goes Todd Kuhn through your frame. The field is still very tight here. Although the leaders have got into some lap traffic, a lot of 2x2 racing going on all the way around this racetrack. And here comes Eric Smith taking a look to the outside of Tim Steele's Chevrolet.
So you've got Ruttman in the lead, Bowser runs second, then Steele and Eric Smith. Those are your top 4. Very close still on the racetrack, still kind of feeling their way along. 150 laps to go here tonight. We're less than 40 laps into this race, so still a lot of racing left here at the Kil-Kare Speedway in Xenia, Ohio.
Steele with a brand new race car out there, a Chevrolet now. We're used to seeing Tim Steele in a Ford product, and that's a brand new car. Bob Dodds gets a little squirrely there coming out of turn 4 and slow, but we're going to stay under green there. So Dodds just getting the feel for this racetrack. He's a sort of a hometown favorite here too, Ron. He's from Dayton, Ohio.
Bob Dodds from Dayton, Ohio, feeling an effort for the first time in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series, running tonight's Winnebago 150 at Kil-Kare Speedway, very nearby to his hometown. And Bob owns Numerics Unlimited, and here we can see Tim Steele. Boy, he just drove right underneath Bobby Bowser. Look at that.
He sure did. Steele's car is hooked up here as he goes into second place now, moving past Bowser. You know, I have to wonder if Bobby Bowser is using a wait-and-see tactic here on his race car to find out what the tires are going to do, because we do have a different tire compound from Hoosier tonight here at Kil-Kare.
Well, if we can back up to the last race event here, the spring event, the Bill Eubank Memorial, which preceded this Winnebago 150, 2 races a year here at Kil-Kare Speedway. Bobby Bowser took the tack that I'm going to run half the race, I'm going to come in and get fresh tires, go a lap down on my pit stop, and I know that, and I'm going to come back out and hopefully make my lap up and then pass all the leaders on fresh tires. That's a risky thing to do here, but it worked for him back in the spring.
And it worked also last year here at this racetrack, the exact same strategy. So we'll have to see if he plays that out this way when we get near the halfway point. But Joe Ruttman leading in the New Lube Chevrolet, fielded by the Rouleau brothers, as you mentioned, from Chicago. And this is a team with a lot of experience on this particular racetrack. Years ago, Bob Strait won a lot of races driving for this team.
The Rouleau brothers lead all car owners with 6 wins here at Kil-Kare Speedway. They've got 17 career wins on the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series with all kinds of different drivers driving their products. Now, we mentioned Joe Ruttman behind the wheel. This is a short track event. Joe has been driving their super speedway equipment also, as his NASCAR Super Truck schedule allows. But Joe Ruttman, a real veteran, and he's not having any problem adapting to this racetrack, even though it is tricky. The Rouleau brothers have obviously fielded him with a very good car here tonight.
Yeah, quality equipment coming out of that team. And as I said, when we were talking with Ruttman before the race, he said, I'm very interested in running here at Kil-Kare, and I want to get on that track at Shady Bowl. He said, I've heard a lot about these different herky-jerky up-and-down type racetracks. So we'll have to see if he's able to compete at the Shady Bowl Speedway for this same team. The field's starting to spread out a little bit now. Some of the single file racing going on. We see Frank Kimmel coming through the frame there along with Mark Gibson. And a couple of cars in danger of going a lap down now as Ruttman moves up on Perry Tripp and also Harris Devane in car number 33.
We also see Tim Steele now moving up and around, Bobby Bowser right behind him, and Eric Smith. Those 3 kind of hooked right together. Chet Blanton also in your screen there in the car number 00, the Sport Spectrum Chevrolet. But here's your leader. That's Joe Ruttman. He lives now in Brentwood, Tennessee, originally from Dearborn, Michigan. Then he lived in California, but doing a good job here tonight in the Rouleau brothers car.
Man, he just blasted by those cars on the inside, which include Ed Dixon and Kenny Schrader's number 52, Chet Blanton and Perry Tripp. And I'll tell you what, this car is really hooked up.
You know, it's funny, Ray. Joe Ruttman has won 2 races on this series, both of them in the early 1980s, but they were at Michigan International Speedway and Daytona International Speedway. His real forte is as a short track driver. He's got a wealth of experience, but he's won on ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series super speedway tracks.
So Ruttman driving for the Rouleau brothers tonight, and Tim Steele making his way now past Harris Devane. So Steele moves up to second, Bowser is third, and Eric Smith has not lost that draft of those leaders. He's right on the tail of Bowser.
Well, that's for sure. The Southtown Motorsports Ford is tagged right to the back end of Bobby Bowser's Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, and of course they're close behind Tim Steele's HS Dye Simlink Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Now, Steele had been in a Ford for most of the season. Now he's got a brand new car. That's a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. So a switch in manufacturers there. And it's important to note that in the ARCA series, you can't just switch bodies. Whoop, looks like we got a caution on the
Yeah, the yellow flag is out here at the Kil-Kare Speedway. And we see Mike Buckley there slow in front of Tim Steele. Not quite sure what the caution is for yet, but the yellow is flagging for the second time. And oh, I see Mark Gibson got into the back of Bob Dodds there in number 09 on the backstretch. This is a replay of what happened back there. So Gibson getting a little impatient possibly with the lap traffic of Bob Dodds, spins him around, and the caution comes out for the second time.
And as you can see from this view, it was difficult for us to see that as the car spun down off the bottom of turn 2. There's kind of a rolling bank as you look down off. And we'll be back with more action from Kil-Kare Speedway in just a moment.
Welcome back to Kil-Kare Speedway. The white flag in the air, 1 lap to go, and we'll be back under racing. Henry Wetzel and Frank Brock up on the Bill Eubank Memorial Flag Stand here at Kil-Kare Speedway. Ruttman is your leader in car number 39. Tim Steele has moved right up there, and we see Jody Guerra and some of the other cars to the inside. All of those cars now have been lapped by the leader. They are at least 1 lap down, and they're going to try to race him back and see if Jody Guerra can get one of those laps back here. As you said, he did go a couple of laps down in the pits, and the green flag is in the air, and Ruttman takes him back to the stripe.
So Joe Ruttman looks pretty tough right at this point in the race. We're not quite to the halfway point in this Winnebago 150, 150 laps on this 3/8 mile paved racetrack. We just saw car number 1, Marvin Smith, come into the frame. A veteran of this series, a former track champion here in the 1970s, 2-time ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series champion, Marvin Smith driving Jim Coyle's Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet, hovering around that top 5, a real veteran guy, and you can look for him to come up later in the race.
Yeah, Marvin qualified 10th today, which is uncharacteristic for him here at this racetrack, but qualifying doesn't really matter when you're going 150 laps on a track you know very well, and he certainly does because he's been a former track champion here.
A 3-track kind of a triangle in this area: Columbus Motor Speedway, Shady Bowl Speedway, and Kil-Kare Speedway. All these 3 tracks, a lot of the short track Ohio late model drivers would run all 3 of those racetracks. Back in those days, they ran on different race nights. Marvin Smith won championships at all 3 tracks back in his prime.
Yeah, he certainly is a good driver. Jody Guerra there now going to the inside, and Bobby Bowser moving to the outside of him. We take a look up, some good racing with Frank Kimmel in the number 02 Papa John's entry, and Dill Whittemore now to the outside. And look at 55, that's Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile. This is a view from the back stretch here, and it's kind of foggy coming in here tonight. It's a very humid night at the racetrack. Bob Schacht in the Engineered Components Ford to the inside, number 75, and this is some tight racing.
Schacht was leading this race back in the spring. We mentioned Bobby Bowser came up with fresh tires late in the race and got a big break from a caution, or else Bob Schacht would have won this race in the spring. This is a different car. It's a brand new Ford Thunderbird short track car, and you can see him sawing away at the wheel there. Perry Tripp out of shape. He had to back out of it. Tight traffic, too wide all the way around. There's 10, 12 cars deep there, too wide.
Some good racing throughout the season in the STP and Prestone Rookie of the Year Challenge, and we take a look at number 56 there. That's Dill Whittemore. He's been challenging with Harris Devane in the Highland Timber Ford, number 33, and Andy Hillenberg. We haven't seen him much tonight on this racetrack, Ron, but he has had an excellent season after winning at Daytona and Flat Rock, and now he's continuing through the heart of this short track season, leading the points in his rookie season.
Hillenberg consistently not real flashy about what he does. Tonight here he qualifies 8th, and he stays on the lead lap. He's now running 6th in this race. Andy Hillenberg, not a real flashy competitor, but he's very, very consistent about what he does, and that's what's been able to keep his point lead. A lot of people looked at him and said, well, he won Daytona, but wait till he gets to the short tracks, he's going to be in trouble. His Fast Track Driving School sponsored cars, though, have run very well, and I think one of the main reasons, of course, is his crew chief, Bob Dodder, a former 3-time series champion.
See some smoke coming out of Roger Blackstock's car there, number 12. We get the indication from the ARCA officials they're keeping an eye on him. He may be black flagged if that smoke continues. Look at this. Glenn Brewer gets into the wall over in turn number 4, car number 10. Glances up into turn 3 and 4 wall there, but Brewer able to continue in car number 10. And it appears that the yellow flag is going to come out, so maybe some debris coming off of that race car, and yes, the yellow is out.
Yeah, there may very well be debris. You saw him make some pretty significant contact over there, and anything kind of parts and pieces that would have flown off either of the wall or his car. He could have just stirred some stuff up that was laying up near the wall and kicked it down into the groove, and no chance on cutting a tire.
Well, we see the pace car on its way out and the track buggy, so they'll take a look at this racetrack here at Kil-Kare Speedway and see if there is anything on the racetrack that may inhibit him from going back to racing. Right now, Tim Steele is the leader, and Joe Ruttman has gone to the pits.
Now we're looking at Mark Gibson's car, number 7. Well, look at Bob Dodds having some overheating problems in the 09. Mark Gibson, you saw Charlie Newby putting a couple of rounds of wedge in. A lot of smoke coming from under the hood of the Numerics Unlimited car. There goes Larry Clement's car, Bob Hill. And as all this pit action takes place, we'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
Look out, guys! Welcome back to the Winnebago 150 at the Kil-Kare Speedway, Ron. A significant change while we were in break as Joe Ruttman has lost the motor in the number 39 car, and that may have been what happened to Glenn Brewer, why he got into the wall over there, but Ruttman has gone to the pit area. They have reported that race car out, and Tim Steele takes over the lead, and just as he takes the lead, he's slow on the restart.
Boy, you don't want to be in the lead here this last couple of laps. Joe Ruttman completely destroyed that engine. You could hear parts clanging down the racetrack and a lot of fluid that just blew the bottom right out of it.
Steele was slow, Ron. Look at this. I believe he has a bigger problem than we thought. I thought he may have just missed a shift on the start, but here goes Bob Shack right past him, and Tim Steele was the leader for just a couple of laps, and now he's slow on the racetrack.
So the lead becomes the hot potato. Joe Ruttman dumps it off to Tim Steele, who drops it right away. Steele, with some obvious problems, going to have to make a pit stop. And on a 3/8 mile racetrack with cars making laps every 14 seconds, you just can't pit under green and not go significantly behind the leaders.
Well, it appears to me that the trouble with Tim Steele's car may be bigger than we think. The crew taking a look there, right side tires, maybe he just had a tire going down. I'm not quite sure. We'll try to keep an update on that. Well, no, they say shut her off. So bigger problems evidently. So Ruttman now drops out after leading, and Tim Steele drops out, and now the lead goes back, I believe, to Bobby Bowser.
What a consistent competitor Bobby Bowser is. He runs up near the front of this race all night long. Earlier we saw a couple of the leaders take the lead from him. Kind of looked like they were running away and taking the race away from Bowser. He did not get in any kind of a panic at all. Stayed right with them, made sure he was within striking distance, and now he comes back right up to the front.
The fans certainly love that in this area. When Bobby Bowser gets introduced at this racetrack, especially when he's on the pole, he really gets a big ovation, and he's got a shot at some big money tonight from the AC Rapid Fire Spark Plug Company, as they have a $5,500 bonus on the line tonight if Bowser's able to win this Winnebago 150.
That's really a lot of money for guys in this series. $5,500 probably is... Whoa, we've got a car in a fence.
Bob Shack has hammered the front stretch wall in car number 75 in the Engineered Components Ford, and that is a lot of damage to that race car as he comes down through the front stretch grass area. I'm sure he'll head to the pits, and the yellow is out for the 3rd time tonight here at Kil-Kare.
Well, I think what they've done, we got a tire off too. I think what's happened there, Bob Shack said, if I can drive it, I'm going to get all the way back around and try to get back up to the leaders before I pull down pit road and lose that much more ground on the racetrack. I think we can look for him to come into the pits this time by. There at the bottom of turn 1 is where the cars come off the track to go down pit road.
That's a lot of damage to that race car. Brand new car out on the short tracks, and he's had it out for 3 races and been in the fence 3 times with it. So Mike Mack, the crew chief, very busy repairing that car. And you're right, he is moving up to the leader there, Bobby Bowser. I'm sure he'll head into the pits this time by, but that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's the rear end is wadded up pretty good. The fuel cell, of course, looks like it's bent down toward the racetrack, and I'm positive that the ARC officials will be on the scene looking at that. Robbie Pyle in the Brandeberry car. Now you see right side, possibly tires going on, but the right side of the car jacked up for Robbie Pyle also.
Tim Steele stays in the pits there, and we'll take a break after the 3rd caution tonight here at Kil-Kare. Back in just a moment. And welcome back to Kil-Kare Speedway, the 13th event of the 1995 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series. It's been a wild night already here, Ron, and Bobby Bowser brings the field back down. We're under green once again.
Bobby Bowser seems to be the most comfortable guy with the lead. We saw Joe Ruttman lead, and he exploded an engine. Then Tim Steele took the lead, and he had some chronic problems, still on pit road and probably out of the race. Bowser comes right back to the forefront, and a couple of more laps here, Ray, he's going to take the Auto Value Parts Store's Halfway Leader Award. 75 laps will be complete of the scheduled 150 here in the Winnebago 150.
You know, talking about money, Ron, that's $500 from Auto Value when you lead the halfway point on a short track. It's $1,000 on the Speedway. There's this big money bonus possible for Bowser tonight, $500 from AC Rapid Fire Spark Plugs, plus about a $4,000 purse. So that could end up being a real nice chunk of change for car number 21 if they're able to win tonight here at Kil-Kare.
And you know, there's a crafty old guy sitting down in the pits on pit road, and he's kind of the mastermind of the Bowser team. His name's Jack Bowser. And he grew up racing when anything that you could get to help your team, be it parts or pieces or a couple of bucks here and there, meant everything. And he still has that mindset. This team does an excellent job of picking up those bonus awards and strategizing the way they run the race so that they can get the bonus points, so that they can get the bonus monies. And it's not like they're just laying back in the weeds to do that, but they really are crafty people when it comes to picking up the bonus awards in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series.
And that's the reason that Bobby has now moved into the all-time money winner in this series. So it's an excellent teamwork that they do to make that happen, and they've done a nice job of fielding an effort over the years and picking up a lot of that extra money. Oh, here's a car off the track back in turn number 2.
Donnie LeDuc.
Yep, number 55, Donnie LeDuc has spun. See if he can get that going, and nope, the yellow is out once again.
The Tech 3 prototype's old, and you saw him kind of roll up the hill there. We mentioned it's kind of a rolling hill area back there. He got up, and the tires were turning over, and just couldn't quite get the car back up onto the speedway. Of course, Donnie LeDuc was on his way back up, and that's why he'll be allowed to go ahead and pass Bobby Bowser. Bowser had slowed and pulled to the high side and said, okay, go ahead back by me.
And the pace car hadn't come out on the racetrack yet. The pace car now should pick up Bowser as the leader, and we see that in the frame. And here goes Bowser to the pits. Car number 21, Ron, here is the strategy you were talking about. They get past the halfway, pick up the money, and on the way to the pits, and I'll bet you they'll take on 4 tires here. They've done it a number of times here at Kil-Kare. Left side tires going on right there. Here goes Alan Thompson, gets the car jacked up. The tires are going on. Gary Bowser there taking a look at the right side. Yep, they're going to do a 4-tire stop.
Todd Bowser, you also see him scrambling. Now, Jack just went and put a couple of rounds of wedge in the right rear of the car, so a little bit of an adjustment for the handling. Maybe this set of tires they're putting on doesn't have the exact same stagger, and he has now gone a lap down. The pace car has passed the exit of pit road, and Bobby Bowser will come out of the pits 1 lap in arrears to the race leader.
So the lead changes once again here at Kil-Kare Speedway, and Bobby Bowser now with fresh tires past the halfway point, and the work continues on Bob Shack's Engineered Components Ford. Looks to me like that may be a car that won't be able to go back into the race either.
Well, they're not going to give up on it at all. And look who comes out in the lead, the guy that just won a couple of weeks ago at Owasso. It's Eric Smith. Second place, who are we talking about?
Marvin Smith. Yep, the old veteran staying right there in the top 5, just like you said, the Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet. And Marvin Smith, a driver you cannot count out at any racetrack until the checkered flag falls. Whoa! Hard crash on the front straightaway. Number 09, Bob Dodds has been involved with another red car there. It's number 44, that is Randy Churchill and Ron. They really clobbered the wall.
Well, if Dick Chrysler ever wanted to test for his new concrete retaining wall, he just got it. 2 of those 3,400-pound cars going about 100 miles an hour. That was a severe impact.
We saw a lot of parts flying off there in the initial stages of that accident, but it looks like both drivers are okay. We see Randy moving around there, and yep, Bob Dodds is also moving in car number 09, so that's the best thing that happened out of this, is that both drivers may be okay.
Dart Machine and Beaver Express, the sponsorship on Randy Churchill's Chevrolet. Numerics Unlimited, you see the hood bowed up on car number 09. Boy, that's a tough break for Churchill. He'd run so well this year. Almost won the race at Owasso, got in a last lap tangle with Kenny Schrader right at the end of that race while he was leading, and that car is wadded up.
Yeah, a lot of damage there to both of these race cars, and we'll be back to Kil-Kare in the Winnebago 150 in just a moment. Back to the Kil-Kare Speedway. Racing resumes here as Marvin Smith is in second place. We see Jody Guerra back out onto the racetrack, although a couple laps down. And Frank Kimmel's Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile now moving up through the field. A couple of drivers falling out there in that accident. Randy Churchill and Bob Dodds have both retired their cars. The car's significantly damaged, but the report is, Ron, both drivers okay.
Boy, that's good news because they really hammered that wall. Just to bring you up to speed on how this race is flowing right after these pit stops and accidents and cars falling out of the race. As we approach the 100th lap of the Winnebago 150, your lead lap cars are, of course, your leader, Eric Smith, Marvin Smith in Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet car number 1, Andy Hillenberg in the Fast Track Driving School Oldsmobile car number 11. He's also on the lead lap. Roger Blackstock doing a great job. Blackstock Pontiac, he's also on the lead lap. 2 other cars, rookie Dill Whittemore in the Indiana Steel car. We just watched Frank Kimmel in the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. Only 6 cars remain on the lead lap.
So Bowser did lose a lap there when he went in and pitted for tires, but he's back on the racetrack with fresher rubber than many of the other drivers. We'll see if their strategy can work out for him tonight here at Kil-Kare Speedway. The Winnebago 150 continues, and Bowser now moving up into traffic. But look, here comes Eric Smith. He's right on his bumper.
That is correct. Now, what Bowser has done here, Ray, he's gone from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. He did pass the leader and got one of his laps back, but here's the leader, Eric Smith, bearing right back down on Bobby Bowser. You would think that with the fresh rubber that he would be able to pull away from Eric Smith, who does not have fresh tires, but that's not really the case here. He's ahead of him, which means if he gets a caution, he'll be able to pull back up to the tail of the field. But he's got to stay ahead of him, and right now Eric Smith is pushing to put him back another lap down.
If you look at the right front corner of the car number 21 there, a little bit of damage there, so maybe Bowser tapped somebody when that big accident happened, and that may have knocked his car a little out of line or some problem like that. But Eric Smith's car is very, very fast, and he's right on the bumper of the 2-time ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde champion Bobby Bowser. And there, Smith takes a look to the inside, but look at this traffic that they're coming up on. Cars too wide all over the racetrack.
This will be interesting to see how these 2 drivers get their way through this. Now, Eric Smith kind of is in a new area. It's new territory for Eric Smith in 1995. Coming into the season, he had only had 2 top 5 finishes in his whole career, which dated back to 1986 and covered 65 races. In 1995, all of a sudden, he's a guy that leads the race. He's got to put cars a lap down, come back from a lap down, find his way through traffic, instead of maybe just sitting there and riding and saying, man, we're going to have a top 10 finish. That's great. Now he's got to be the guy that sets the pace. He sets the traffic flow, and he's looking now to put Bobby Bowser back another lap down.
Amazingly enough, Bob Schacht is back out on the racetrack in car number 75. We saw a couple of pieces flying off there as the leaders went around him. Here comes Marvin Smith right up to the tail of Schacht. And even with all that damage, when he clobbered the front stretch wall, he has made it back onto the track. And that's significant in accruing points throughout the season, because every finish position you move up may be those 5 or 10 points that you need to win this championship.
And that's exactly what one finish position equals, is 5 points. And speaking of finish positions, here goes Eric Smith to the inside of Bobby Bowser. Now, I'm sure that Eric Smith's crew chief, Terry Walker, and the owner of the Southtown Motorsports Ford, Cleve Smith, a former ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series driver himself, are telling him over the radio, don't be crazy about this, but if you can put him a lap down, do it. But meanwhile, look at Marvin Smith moving right up onto the tail end of them.
And Frank Kimmel. Kimmel is on the lead lap here in the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile, and he has moved up to, look at this traffic, lots of slowing down up in front of the leaders, and Eric Smith makes contact there with Donnie LeDuc in number 55, and here comes Kimmel to the inside. Frank Kimmel could lead this race if he's able to get around Smith, and this traffic has made it very, very tough for Eric Smith because there's cars on the outside and the inside. Marvin Smith, as you said, has moved up. He's currently in third.
Okay, LeDuc has now passed Barry Tripp and gotten past him. Now he's on the outside of the C.L. Jones car, the Highland Timber car, Harris Devane on board. And now, finally, Eric Smith clears the 2 wide traffic ahead of him. But the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile of Frank Kimmel is right on his tail because he got caught up in that traffic.
Yeah, good run there for Eric Smith as he picked his way through that 2 wide traffic. And now, as you said, it opens up and Smith starts to pull back away from Frank Kimmel and Marvin Smith. By the way, the Smiths, no relation.
None whatsoever. Eric Smith from Bloomington, Illinois, and Marvin from Asheville, Ohio. Marvin Smith's brother, crew chief Carl Smith, also a former terror on the short tracks and late models in the Ohio area.
So now Eric Smith starts to open up his lead over Frank Kimmel. The Southtown Motorsports Ford team has really stepped up an effort. They won at the Owasso Speedway in the Engineered Components 200. A great run that night, but Eric probably would tell you that he didn't think he was going to win that race because Randy Churchill and Kenny Schrader were running a little bit faster, but any win's a good win, and if he's able to hold on tonight, though, I think that he is really going to show that they're a quality car and a contender.
He passes Robbie Pyle, go another lap down in the Brandeberry Chrysler. This is Eric Smith in car number 9, the blue and white Ford Thunderbird, the Southtown Motorsports Ford. Young driver out of Bloomington, Illinois. Cut his teeth on the dirt tracks over there and short tracks, and I talked to him earlier in the season. In fact, it was at Owasso, and I said, what all kind of racing have you done prior to coming here? And he said, basically nothing. We ran a street stock around home, and my dad had run this series in the late 60s and early 70s, and this is what he wanted to do. We really never had enough money to come and do it, but we did it anyway. And this year we've been able to build a brand new race car from the ground up. Terry Walker, the crew chief, putting a lot of work in on the car along with Cleve and Eric Smith, and it really, really showed.
And there's less than 5 laps to go here, Ron, with a great race car under Eric Smith. He's moving up on Dill Whittemore and Andy Hillenberg. He may lap these cars, but the late stages of this race has Eric Smith in the lead, and I think he's going to hold on to win this one. A great run today for Eric.
And that shows you just how great it is. That's the 5th and 6th place cars that he's looking at maybe putting a lap down. And what a great white flag is out. One more lap for Eric Smith. Could he pick up his 2nd win in 3 weeks?
An incredible 1995 season for Eric Smith from Bloomington in car number 9. The Southtown Ford is on his way out of turn number 4. He looks at Dill Whittemore. Whittemore slides across the start-finish line, and the checkered is out for Eric Smith, picking up his 2nd win in 1995. A great run for Eric, Cleve Smith, and Terry Walker, the crew chief. And we'll be back to wrap it up from Kil-Kare in just a moment.
Eric, congratulations. When you're second, you try harder. You were second here in May to Bobby Boucher. It looked for a while like Boucher may have the field covered, but hey, he had some tire problems. From that point on, it looked like you had them covered.
Yeah, with Rollo brothers and Bobby, I knew they'd be tough, but you know, I just let them get in front of me. I was trying to save my tires and, you know, trying to get down closer to the end of the race and hopefully go race with them then, but that ended up not being the case.
Well, Bobby had planned all along for a pit stop in that window between about 70 and 90 laps. Your crew apparently had planned to go the distance, as you say, baby the tires early, be around for the finish.
Yeah, the Hoosier tires, they're working great. I knew if I saved, you know, just took it easy, saved my tires, I knew they'd go all the way.
Now, your first ARCA victory came only a couple of weeks ago, so now maybe it's going to be easier to pull off a few more wins, huh?
They say that after you get the first one out of the way, the rest or the others come easier, but I don't think so.
You know, a short track like this, traffic plays such a major factor. And sometimes it's easier for the guy running in second, because when you're going through traffic as the leader, you have to make the choice right or left. And that can be the most difficult choice to make.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, that's tough. And, you know, I got in some lap traffic there, and I couldn't go anywhere. And I just couldn't tell where the second place car was. But I just, you know, kept running a smooth pace. And it's also, you know, if you're running second, third, it's tough too with lap cars.
Well, it was a convincing victory. We congratulate you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, back to the booth.
So his 2nd win of 1995 for Eric Smith down there enjoying the spoils of Victory Lane. Thanks a lot to Gary Lee and Larry Rice for joining us tonight on the program. Taking a look at your SK Tools field summary, Kenny Brown dropped out early. Joe Ruttman and Tim Steele both had led the early stages of this race, but both of those cars retired and finished 26th and 25th, so a tough break for those guys who had been up front in the early stages of this race.
24th and 23rd, of course, we saw Randy Churchill and Bob Dodds with heavy contact. Both of those cars torn up pretty badly. Both drivers okay, though. Glenn Brewer comes home 22nd. Mike Lors from Midlothian, Illinois, will come home 21st. Robbie Pyle struggles today in Jerry Lawrence's Chrysler, the Brandeberry car. He's 20th. And Mike Fritz is driving for Wally Finney, the Finney Racing Oldsmobile. He'll be 19th. They've come all the way up from Florida, kind of watching the hurricanes that are spouting around down there in Florida.
In 18th position, after heavy damage to the number 75 Engineered Components Ford, Bob Schacht will pick up some points. Jody Guerra, of course, went to the pits early. Mike Buckley in car number 48 will finish 16th. And Todd Kuhn, we didn't see him much on the racetrack tonight, but He continues around there in 15th position. The Sports Spectrum car of Chet Blanton's, number 00, will be 14th. And Bobby Bowser does not pick up that $5,500 bonus from AC Rapid Fire Spark Plugs. He'll finish 13th after going down a couple of laps. And, of course, Bowser probably disappointed about not getting that money, but the money will roll over and he'll go to the next race.
Good run from Mark Gibson from Auburn, Georgia, and Charlie Newby's Atlas Copco Tools Girton Trucking Chrysler finishes 12th. Perry Tripp, the WW Transport Motorcycle Stuff Olds, he comes home 11th. A top 10 run for Harris Devane from Cuthbert, Georgia, and C.L. Jones's Highland Timber Ford. Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile, the Michigan driver, finishes 9th. Ed Dixon from Washington, Missouri, and Ken Schrader's Ron Blund Construction Pontiac, he'll be 8th on the field tonight. And finishing 7th is Bob Hill, driving for car owner Larry Clement in the Chevrolet Lumina car number 46.
Harris Devane qualified 26th and moves up to 10th, so that's a good run. A couple of rookies chasing down that Rookie of the Year battle, finishing 5th and 6th. That's Andy Hillenberg in car number 11, the current points leader in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series. Gil Whittemore in 56 stayed on the lead lap out there. A good run for the driver from Seymour, Indiana. We thought Roger Blackstock had some problems as he was smoking early. He finishes 4th, so great run there for car number 12. Then it's Marvin Smith in the Riverside Chevrolet. He's a veteran, and he finishes 3rd. Frank Kimmel in the 02 Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. He'll be 2nd, so that'll help Kimmel in the point standings. And Eric Smith picks up his 2nd win of the season. A big thanks to Continental Cablevision for bringing you the pictures tonight from the Kil-Kare Speedway and the Winnebago 150. I'm Ray Dunlap, along with Ron Drager. A big special thanks to Gary Lee and Larry Rice, and we'll see you next time at the races.